good morning to everyone. We are truly honored to be standing here today to talk about a topic that is highly relevant to every student, not just here in Malaysia but all around the world. It is about digital well-being and mental health in the post-pandemic era. So I am Puteri, and with me are my brilliant teammates, Syuhada and also ALIFHA. Over the next 15 minutes, we are going to be looking at the journey we all shared, how the pandemic completely changed our digital lives, and the mental health challenges that followed, and most importantly, what we can actively do to build a healthier and happier digital habits moving forward. So let's start with a quick moment of shared memory. So think back, in 2020, suddenly everything moved online. Our screens became our classrooms, our social spaces, our only way to see friends and family, and even our emotional lifelines. It was like hanging. For many months, our rooms were our schools. This shift was necessary, but it came up with a huge invisible cost. We started experiencing a huge surge in things like digital fatigue, that feelings of exhaustion, tired after hours of Zoom calls and Google Meets. We felt isolation even when we were constantly connected, and a lot of anxiety about the uncertainty of the world outside the screen. And today we are going to unpack these deep-seated effects and propose practical strategies for how we can all recover and build stronger mental resilience in this new fully digital world. Alright, before we go further, let's make sure that we are clear on our main terms. So what exactly is digital well-being? So we like to think of maybe this is just a digital fitness, just like when you exercise to keep your body healthy. But in fact, digital well-being is about making sure your technology use is healthy for your mind and also your emotions. It's not just about counting screen time, but it is also about how we use digital tools, how they make us feel, and whether they are truly helping us succeed or actually getting in our way. So for students, digital well-being covers everything from managing academic pressures online to handling social media comparisons and setting proper boundaries. So let's quickly look at the four main dimensions where we will be touching upon. So first, we have emotional regulation online. So this is about how we handle our strong feelings like our anger or sadness when we are online and how we respond to others. So secondly is about healthy screens habit. So this is simply about having good routines like deciding when to put the phone down so you can get a good night's sleep, so you will not get interrupted by your notifications and also your phone. And third is digital boundaries. This means setting clear rules like making sure your study isn't constantly interrupted by notification from your friends, or maybe if your family's on TikTok, that means you're getting notifications from TikTok a lot. So fourthly is about online safety and empathy. This is about protecting ourselves from cyberbullying and making sure that we treat every person online with respect and kindness. So it's crucial for us to be kind with everyone and respect each other. So understanding these points is the first step toward recovery. So now let's dive into the statistic and see exactly what the post-pandemic mental health landscape looks like. So Syuhada, I'm handing over to you. Okay, stop. Before I hand over the microphone, so let's zoom in on the sneaky ways our technology affects our minds. It's like our phones. They have a little magnets that pull our focus away. So we need to understand first why this happens so we can fight it. So the first major trap is the combination of FOMO. So what exactly is FOMO? FOMO is fear of missing out. So we're going to learn the combination of FOMO and the comparison trap. So stop and think for a moment. Social media platforms are not designed to make you happy. They are designed to keep you scrolling. The people who create these apps are experts at making us feel inadequate. So we are constantly seeing the highlight reel of everyone else's life, the perfect graduation picture, the flawless holiday, the friend group having fun that we actually weren't part of it. This isn't real life. It is heavily edited content. But our brain doesn't care. It registers that we are less than. This triggers a deep sense of inadequacy. And also this feeling creates a huge anxiety that pressures us to stay online just to monitor what everyone else is doing. It becomes a deeply unhealthy cycle. You feel lonely, so you check your phone, but seeing others' perfect life make you feel even lonelier. So this is a very difficult loop to break. Our goal isn't just to manage time, but to protect our self-worth from this constant, unfair comparison. So the second powerful trap is the dopamine addiction loop. This is poor brain science, but it's easy to understand. Every single notification, just like that message ping, is a small and unpredictable price. When we get that price, our brain releases dopamine, which is our brain's feel-good chemical. Think of it like a feeding tiny, hungry monster in your mind. The monster is always looking for the next reward. This makes us constantly check our devices, sometimes without even realizing it. Our brains become rewired to search for this quick, shallow burst of pleasure instead of enduring the quiet effort of deep work. So this is the core problem for students. Deep concentration studying for an exam, reading a complex book. These things require patience, but the dopamine loops train us to be impatient. It gives us shortened attention spans and makes it incredibly difficult to focus for long periods, which directly hurts our grades and increases our stress. So by recognizing these traps and the comparison trap and the dopamine loop is what led us to the answer, digital literacy. We can't just throw away our phones because they are essential tools for us now. Okay, but the solution is becoming the master of our tools, not the servant. So first, digital literacy is the key that takes our phone from being a source of stress and turns them into a tool for success. It has three simple parts. First one is critical literacy. This is the ability to think like a detective about what you see online. So can you spot fake news? Can you tell when the content is biased or you just designed to make you click? This protects your mind from misinformation. So second one is social literacy. So this is about being a good person online. It's how we manage our identity, show empathy, and use our voice responsibly to lift people up instead of engaging in conflict or cyberbullying. So third is wellness literacy. This is the most practical. It is the skill of using technology's built-in features like your do not disturb mode or your time settings or your screen time settings to protect your own energy and mental health. It's like setting boundaries for your own safety. So by learning these three skills, we stop being passive users who just scroll and react, and we start becoming active masters of our digital lives. This shift in power is the most powerful tool we have for resilience. So, as I conclude my part, I hope you see that our presentation has established three clear and urgent facts. The pandemic created a new normal defined by techno stress and a new digital divide. So, Malaysian students face critically high levels of anxiety and stress fueled by money and worries and academic pressure. The way forward is mastering digital well-being, our digital fitness program, by fighting the psychological traps and achieving complete digital literacy. So this foundation is crucial. This is not just a random topic, but it is a call to action for our own well-being, for our communities, and for our universities. So the numbers are clear. We cannot ignore this problem any longer. So now that we have explored all this, so my brilliant teammate Syuhada will take us even deeper. So she will present the specific data and case studies to truly quantify the challenge we face, showing where these stresses are impacting us most directly, especially within the B40 community. So Syuhada, over to you.
Thanks, Puteri. Now let's dive into the mental health landscape after the pandemic. During the COVID-19 years, students all over the world experienced major emotional changes. Many had to adjust quickly to online learning, spend long hours in front of a screen, and deal with not being able to meet with their friends in person. This caused a sharp rise in anxiety, depression, and burnout among students. According to the 2022 UNICEF Malaysia report, about 1 in 5 students said they often felt persistently sad or hopeless, and 1 in 10 adolescents showed signs of anxiety or depression. The Ministry of Health also reported that youth mental health issues increased by 25% compared to before the pandemic. These numbers show how serious the situation became. The main causes include the sudden shift to online classes, lack of social interaction, and the uncertainty about school, exams, and the future. Students also face long screen time, less sleep, and reduced physical activity. As a result, many felt lonely, unmotivated, or emotionally tired. However, not everything was negative. This pandemic also encouraged more people to talk openly about mental health. Schools started offering counseling sessions and awareness programs, and many students began using digital tools and apps to support their well-being. So, overall, while the pandemic increased mental health challenges, it also helped us understand the importance of taking care of our emotions and supporting each other. Now, let's zoom in on Malaysia and see how students here were affected. In rural areas such as Sabah, Sarawak, and parts of Kedah or Kelantan, many students face connectivity problems and limited access to digital devices. Some had to share one phone with several siblings or travel to find internet signal. This made learning stressful and often caused feelings of frustration and isolation. Meanwhile, in urban areas like Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and Johor Bahru, students had better access to technology, but they faced different kinds of pressure. Too much screen time, too many assignments, and social media exposure led to burnout and anxiety. Many urban students said they felt exhausted and disconnected even though they were always online. Despite these differences, both groups share similar mental health challenges such as anxiety, loneliness, low motivation, and lack of focus. This shows that mental health issues can affect anyone, regardless of where they live. Here's an example from a student in Sabah who shared her experience. Sometimes I had to climb a hill just to get internet signal for class. I felt tired and left out. And a student from Kuala Lumpur said, even though I had Wi-Fi, being online all day made me anxious. I missed seeing my friends. These stories shows how the pandemic affected students differently, but the emotional impact was real for everyone. It reminds us that every student needs mental health support, whether they are from rural or urban areas. Next, let's talk about social media. One of the biggest part of our lives, especially during lockdown, social media became a double-edged sword. On one hand, it helped us to stay connected when we couldn't meet in person. Many students use it to express creativity through TikTok videos, art, or sharing positive messages. It also gave access to information about mental health and online communities that offered emotional support. But on the other hand, social media also brought challenges. It increased comparison culture by seeing other people's perfect photos or achievement often made students feel like they weren't good enough. Cyberbullying and online hate became more common. There was also a rise in misinformation which caused confusion and fear. Plus, the habit of endlessly scrolling made it hard to sleep and concentrate. In Malaysia, a 2023 MCMC report found that teenagers spend over 4 hours a day on social media. The most used platforms are TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And these are also where many students said they felt the most pressure to look perfect or be successful. So, social media can either help or harm our mental health. It really depends on how we use it. Practicing digital well-being means managing our screen times, following positive accounts, and taking breaks when we need to. Now, before I move on, let's do a quick poll. Raise your hand if you've ever felt worse after scrolling through social media. That's exactly what we mean by digital well-being in action. We've all experienced it, and that's why awareness is so important. Overall, whether it's the effects of the pandemic, the differences between rural and urban students, or the influence of social media, all of these show that mental health is something we must continue to care about, especially in digital age. So now that we've looked at how the pandemic and social media affected students' mental health, let's talk about what we can actually do about it. Schools and teachers play such an important role in supporting students' mental well-being. Teachers are often the first to notice when a student is struggling or seems withdrawn. By creating a caring classroom environment and showing empathy, they can make a huge difference. Many schools today have started mental health awareness programs, stress management workshops, and counseling services. This is a great way to make students feel supported and safe. Besides teachers, our friends also play a big part. Sometimes, talking to a friend who truly listens can help more than anything else. After the pandemic, many schools and universities started peer support groups or student-led mental health club or student-led mental health clubs. These spaces allow students to share their feelings openly and remind us that we're not alone. Family relationships also affect our emotional well-being. During lockdown, some families grew closer, but others faced more tension. Having supportive parents who understand and communicate openly makes a big difference. It's important that families see mental health not as weakness, but as something that deserves care, just like physical health. The Malaysian government has also taken action. The Line 15555 is a free helpline for anyone who needs mental health support. There are also campaigns like Let's Talk Minda Sihat by the Ministry of Health to encourage Malaysians to speak about their struggles. This shows that mental health is slowly becoming a national priority. As we move forward, it's important to find a balance between our online and offline lives. Spending too much time online can cause fatigue, but disconnecting completely isn't realistic either. Simple habits like limiting screen times, taking short breaks, exercising, and getting enough sleep can help us maintain both mental and physical health. One of the biggest lessons from the pandemic is the importance of emotional resilience, the ability to stay strong and recover from difficult situations. When students learn to manage stress, express their feelings, and maintain positive relationships, they become stronger and more confident. This resilience is something that will help us not only in school but throughout our lives. To wrap up, mental health is not just a topic, it's a daily journey. Every one of us has mental health just like we have physical health, and it deserves the same attention and care. As one quote beautifully says, you don't have to struggle in silence. You can be brave and ask for help. So whether it's supporting a friend, reaching out to a teacher, or simply taking time for yourself, remember that every small step towards kindness and understanding can make a big difference. Overall, the pandemic, the shift learning, and our social media habits have shaped how we view mental health today. But what matters most is that we continue to care for ourselves, for our friends, and for our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Syuhada. So, how do we move forward from this? I believe recovery doesn't happen overnight. It starts with awareness and small intentional actions that we take every day. There are actually several strategies students can try to slowly build a healthier relationship with technology. For example, We can start with digital detox routines, where we take short breaks from our screens, just to reconnect with the real world. Next, we can practice mindful social media use, being more aware of how much time we spend online and what kind of content we consume. It is also important to do mental health check-ins, just to pause and ask ourselves how we're really feeling. Besides that, joining peer support groups can really help, because sometimes talking to people who understand what we're going through makes a big difference. And lastly, making of school-based counseling and workshops can give us professional guidance and useful tools to manage stress in healthier ways. So, let's take a moment to reflect. What's one digital habit you would like to change this week? For me, my small step would be limiting my screen time before bed and replacing it with reading or journaling instead. Now, let's talk about the role of educators and institutions. I think schools and universities play such an important role in this whole issue. They are not just places for academic learning, they are environments that shape our habits, our mindsets, and even our emotional well-being. Institutions should really start prioritizing mental health by integrating digital well-being into their curriculum. It doesn't have to be a whole new subject. It could be simple discussions, awareness programs, or even start workshops that teach students how to balance their digital life in a healthy way. Besides that, offering accessible support services like counseling or peer mentoring can make a huge difference, especially for students who might feel overwhelmed but don't know where to start. And most importantly, educators should be trained to recognize early signs of stress or burnout in students. Sometimes, all it takes is a teacher noticing that something's off and checking in with a student to make them to feel seen or supported. Just imagine a classroom where mental health is talked about openly, where students feel safe to express themselves, and where digital boundaries are respected by both teachers and students. That's the kind of future we should aim for, a school environment that supports not only our grades, but also our growth and emotional health. Okay, so now let's move on to advocacy and policy. You know, this part is really interesting because sometimes we forget how powerful students can actually be when it comes to creating change. We might think we're just students, but our voices, when combined, can really influence decisions at higher levels. So, let's talk about advocacy first. Students can be powerful voices for change. We can push for policies that protect digital rights, promote mental health funding, and ensure equal access to technology for everyone, regardless of their background. Because at the end of the day, digital well-being isn't just a personal issue, but it is a social responsibility too. And there are already some great examples out there, like one that really stood out to me. It is the Mental Health Matters campaign by Malaysian youth groups. They actually managed to get real attention from policymakers and successfully lobbied for more school counselors back in 2023. That just shows how when young people come together with a clear goal, real change can happen. So yeah, I think advocacy starts with awareness, but it grows stronger when we take action, speak up, and use our platforms responsibility. Even small efforts like sharing credible information and joining students' organizations that focus on mental health can make big difference. Before we wrap up everything, I just want to highlight one more important part that often gets overlooked, and that is the role of family and support systems in maintaining our digital well-being. You know, we have talked about schools, teachers, and even the government can do. But the truth is, our first line of support usually comes from home. Family plays such a big role, not just in providing internet access or devices, but in shaping how we use them responsibly. For example, parents or guardians can set the tone by modeling healthy digital habits. If they show that it is okay to put down the phone during dinner or to take a break from social media, it teaches that technology doesn't have to control every part of our lives. Sometimes it is those small family routines like eating together, going for a walk, or having simple conversations that really help us stay grounded or present. And honestly, I think it is not just about parents. Siblings, cousins, or even close friends can be part of that support systems too. Sometimes having a friend who reminds you to rest or says, "Hey, let's take a break from our phones and talk in person," can be the little push you need to disconnect and recharge. What's interesting is that digital well-being isn't only about limiting screen time, it is also that building meaningful connections offline. So, when families encourage open communication, it helps us feel safe to talk about what we're going through, whether it is online stress, cyberbullying, or academic burnout. I think families can also work together to set what I would call digital boundaries as a team. Things like having screen-free hours, limiting devices before bedtime, or even planning weekend activities without phone can remind everyone that there's a whole world outside of the digital one. And for some students who might not have strong family support, that is where teachers, mentor, or peer support groups come in. That they can become chosen family, people who listen, guide, and check in without judgment. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is feeling understood and supported by someone who cares. So yeah, when we combine strong family support, caring educators, and healthy policies, students won't have to face those pressure of the digital world alone. They'll have a safety net, people who not only remind to take care of their mental health, but also wait with them through it. That is how true digital well-being starts, through connection, empathy, and understanding both online and offline. Before we end, I would like to bring up something that I think every student here can relate to, the psychology behind digital addiction. Now, when we hear the word addiction, we usually think of things like smoking, caffeine, or gambling. But many people don't realize that our phones are actually built to trigger the same psychological responses. Here, let's think about it. How many times have you opened your phone just to check one message and suddenly it's been 30 minutes? That's not an accident, that is design. So the first one is called dopamine loop. When we get notifications like messages, comments, our brain releases the dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It is the same chemical release when we eat something we like or win a small game. What's tricky is that dopamine isn't about happiness, it's about anticipation. That's why we keep checking on our phones again, waiting for the next notification. Social media apps are smart. They're designed to give us unpredictable rewards like slot machines. You don't know when you will get messages or like. That unpredictability keeps you hooked. Second, the fear of missing out, or more famous known as FOMO. Fear of missing out. When we scroll through social media, we see everyone's best moment, the fun treats, the perfect selfies, achievements. Our brain compares even when we don't want to. That comparison creates anxiety. It tells us, if I don't check what others are doing, I might be left out. So we stay online not because we want to, but because we're scared of missing something. Third, the illusion of connection. Social media also tricks our mind into feeling connected. When someone likes your post or replies to your story, your brain interprets that it is social belonging, but the problem is it is surface level. You might have 500 followers but still feel lonely when no one actually checks in when you're sad. That is because online connection lacks depth, and it's validation, not understanding. And when the fake connection fades, the loneliness feels even worse. Fourth, the cycle of stress and escape. Then comes the stress loop. When we feel anxious or tired, we turn to our phones for comfort, watching videos, scrolling endlessly, but instead of calming us, it overstimulates our brain even more. So, the brain starts associating stress relief with screen time, and that is how the cycle begins. We escape stress through our phones, but the phone itself becomes the new source of stress. That is why after scrolling for hours, we don't actually feel rested. We feel drained. And fifth, why students are more vulnerable. As students, we are at unique disadvantage. We use devices for studying, entertainment, and socializing, all in one place. That makes it hard to separate work from rest. And let's be honest, online learning during the pandemic made things worse. We had to be online for hours and even after the class. It became our habit to stay connected. Over time, habit becomes dependency. Not only that, it also breaks the cycle, which is awareness and action. So how do we take back control? Start with awareness, which is understanding that our brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. Here are a few steps that we can take. First, set digital boundaries. For example, no phone during meals or 30 minutes before bed. 2. Turn off non-essential notifications. Not every notification needs your attention. 3. Be intentional online. Before opening an app, ask yourself, why am I here? 4. Replace scrolling with real rest, such as stretching and walking, or maybe journaling. 5. Track your screen time. Okay, next, rebuilding a healthier relationship with technology. The goal isn't to delete all your apps or life offline. It is to use technology mindfully. When we take control of our digital habits, we don't just gain more time, we gain clarity, peace, and emotional stability. Imagine this, a day where you wake up and first thought isn't to check your phone, but to stretch or smile. A night where your mind feels light because you're not endlessly scrolling until 2 a.m. That's what digital freedom feels like. Lastly, a quick reflection. Let's take a short moment to think. What's one digital habit you know isn't helping you? Maybe it's checking your phone right before sleep. Maybe it's comparing yourself online. Or maybe it's saying yes to every notification. So whatever it is, just being aware of it is already the first step toward change. So, digital addiction isn't about weakness or lack of discipline. It's about understanding how our mind works and making conscious choices to protect it. When we pair awareness with self-compassion, we can rebuild our relationship with technology in a healthier, more intentional way. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to disconnect from the world, it's to reconnect with ourselves. Oh yeah, shall we talk about the role of digital media in shaping youth activism? Let's be honest, how many of you have ever reposted something meaningful on your story? Maybe about climate change, Palestine, or mental health awareness? Yeah, exactly. That right there is activism, just in a digital form. Now, the way young people fight for change has completely transformed. We don't always need to march on the streets, holding banners. Sometimes all it takes is one viral post, one hashtag, or one creative video to start a movement. So, what actually is youth activism today? Well, youth activism used to mean being part of a club or going for a protest. But in today's world, it's more dynamic. It's about using digital media like Instagram, TikTok, X, or even YouTube to raise awareness, spread information, and take action. We, as digital generation, have the power of influence. Think about it. Social media is our microphone, and the internet is our stage. And the coolest part, we don't need permission to speak up. Anyone with Wi-Fi and passion can spark change. Okay, so how digital media empowers youth? Well, one of the biggest advantage is access. Our parents used to read newspapers or watch the 8 p.m. news, but us? We open our phones, scroll for 5 minutes, and boom, we already know what's happening across the world. That speed of information helps us to make decisions, form opinions, and connect with causes we care about. Then there's mobilization. Digital media brings people together. Remember, the hashtag Undi18 movement here in Malaysia? It started online and eventually it changed actual laws, lowering the voting age to 18. Or globally, there's Greta Thunberg's hashtag Fridays for Future, which began as one girl's post about skipping school to protest climate inaction. Now, it is a worldwide movement. That's the power of digital connection. And let's talk about youth voices as agents of change. What is inspiring is how creative youth activism has become. We don't just talk, we design, we edit, we post, and we collaborate. We use art, music, videos, and memes, even humor to make serious topics more relatable. Let's see, for example, Malaysian students use TikTok skits and memes to discuss mental health. Those light-hearted videos made heavy topics easier to digest, and it is actually encouraged people to talk openly. Digital activism isn't just about shouting, it is about storytelling and making people feel something. But it is not always perfect. Of course, with power comes problem. Social media can be toxic sometimes. We've got misinformation where false news spread faster than the truth. We've got cancel culture where one mistake can destroy someone's reputation. And there's also slacktivism. Slacktivism is when people post a hashtag but don't do anything beyond that. It's like, I've done my part, but have we really? Plus, not everyone has the same access to technology. Some rural areas still struggle with internet connection. So, while the group is speaking up online, another group is left unheard. And what's the way forward? So, how do we fix this? I think the answer lies in digital literacy by teaching youth how to use social media responsibly, knowing how to fact check, think critically, and avoid being manipulated by fake laws. We also need collaboration between young people, NGOs, and even governments. If youth voices are loud online, imagine how powerful they can be when supported by policy. For example, imagine if schools actually taught media literacy, how to spot bias, how to create meaningful campaigns, how to turn online support into real-world change. That's the future we should aim for. And a message to all young people. I truly believe that digital media is one of the most powerful tools we've ever had. But it is not the phone that creates change, it's the person holding it. So, the next time you post, the next time you share or comment, remember, your words travel farther than you think. They can educate, inspire, and even transform society. So, don't underestimate your voice because right now, our generation isn't just the future. We are the present. We are the movement. So remember, keep speaking up, keep creating, and keep fighting for what you believe in, both online and offline.
I swear I can't focus in class anymore. My brain just stops working.
Same. Every time the lecturer talk, I zone out. I used to be fine, but online classes took my attention span.
You know what they call it? Post-pandemic burnout. It's real. Because our brains are already used to, sleep and doom scrolling during class.
I see that. But you know what? Don't remind me. I used to attend class with my camera off, messy hijab and breakfast in my hand.
You used to? You
I-
still do that sometimes.
Of course. Hey, there was only one K.
Okay.
But seriously, it is normal. We spend years adjusting to online life. Coming back to real connections feel, overwhelming.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm behind everyone. I lost part of my motivation to online classes.
But Syuhada, you always look confident.
That's the thing. I look okay, but I'm really not actually.
Oh, seriously, it's basically like you know my name but not my story. I can see
it's
that.
gi-
Do you see that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
giving.
You've been scrolling for 30 minutes, Don't you feel tired?
ALIFHA, it's relaxing. I just need to distract myself.
Syuhada, you said the same thing yesterday. But yesterday, you ended up sleeping at 2 a.m.
I know, but if I don't scroll, my mind won't stop thinking.
That's why you need to stop.
You know what it's called? What they call it? They call it doom scrolling. Sure, it's addictive, but it will, ruin your mental health and make your anxiety worse.
Great. So even relaxing is bad now?
It's not that bad to be honest, but too much screen time, you will start comparing yourself with others on online.
True. Everyone looks like they're doing great. Traveling, achieving things. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here trying to survive each semester.
That's the problem with digital life. We only see their highlight but not their struggle, right? It's called digital well-being in action. You use technology to use them in a good way, not to drain you.
Okay, so class is about to start in 2 minutes. Oh my god, my battery! Oh my god, where's the charger? I can't find my charger!
Puteri, your mic is on. We can all hear you.
Oh no! Again?
We laughed, but deep down we were exhausted. Social media has been our social life, our home to connecting with everyone. But sometimes it gets too much and overcross.
I remember the silence after the class ended. I closed my laptop and it's just me, myself, alone in my room.
Yeah, it feels like my life is past.
Those moments shape our mental health today. We were still recovering from it, but it doesn't look like it.
You know what? I started journaling again, but I write only if I wanted to. But it actually kind of helps me to start my thoughts.
Really? I've been trying to meditate, but I always ended up falling asleep.
She always do that, Syuhada.
That's okay. Sleep also a self-care too.
Yeah.
Actually, sleep
is different for everyone. The key is you guys can sleep as long as it recharges your mind.
Like walking without my phone, just breathing fresh air.
Yeah.
Like my breath.
I love that.
Or talking with friends who understand us?
Yeah.
Exactly. And when we can handle things alone, it's okay. Just ask for help from your friend, from your parents, counselor, or everyone.
Yeah, I think during the pandemic, we learned how fragile we are, but also we learned how strong we can be. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I can't remember anything. My brain is full.
Take a break, girl. You've been studying on phone for hours.
But if I don't finish this, I'll fail.
It's okay.
You won't. You know when they say balance. You
Yeah.
don't stop with this pushing yourself because it will make you even more burnout.
Yeah.
You guys are right. I'll stop now.
Okay, guys. What about we do digital detox break, which is no phone, just us for 10 minutes.
Sure. Feels weird, huh?
Weirdly peaceful.
Oh my god, I forgot how quiet real life is without notifications.
Yeah,
I
that's
know, right?
Do you guys ever feel like you're not doing enough?
All the time.
Yeah, but I'm learning that enough doesn't mean perfect. It means trying your best, even if it is a small step.
I like that. I'll write that in my notes app.
Lol. Wait, were we supposed to take a break from phones and
No.
laptop and the gadgets?
Yeah. Oops. Oops.
It's okay, progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, we want you to remember something. Your mental health matters. Remember, you're not alone. You're not the only one feeling anxious and depression.
Yeah, it's true, ALIFHA. Actually, we need to take time to disconnect from screens once in a while. Go outside, talk to people, and live a little life.
Yeah. And when things feel heavy, please reach out. Talk to your friends, family, or counselor. It's okay to need help.
Digital well-being and mental health go hand in hand. When you care for your mind, technology becomes a tool, not a trap.
Okay, you guys know what? I feel lighter after talking like this.
Me too. Sometimes we just need to pause and check in with ourselves.
Exactly, the pandemic taught us that we can adapt. Now it's time to heal, but together.
Let's do pinky promise. Let's promise to take care of ourselves and each other.
Deal, and maybe less scrolling tonight.
Not sure though.
That's a start.
But I will try though,
So now we have just done discussing our topic for today.
Yes.
So I'm curious, Putri,
Yes.
do you think that school nowadays should implement technologies in their education, especially in teaching and learning?
I don't think so. School cannot rely 100% on technology because there are still few students who doesn't have any technology. Doesn't have any gadgets. Even though they have gadgets, but maybe they have weak internet connection. That there's no Wi-Fi because there's some people. There's some students who actually live in rural areas, so it's hard for them. So we need to think about them too. Don't be selfish to think about us. That's just because we have technology and Wi-Fi doesn't mean it implies on everyone. So basically, school also need to use traditional method, which is offline method, to still use offline materials like still answer exams on paper instead of on gadgets.
Yeah, I agree with that. Besides, I think technologies also can drain our health,
Yeah.
especially our eyes, because I heard that technologies produces ray,
Yep.
and which is bad for our health, right?
Yeah.
So Syuhada, I would like to ask you, do you think that the initiatives of giving technologies to schools is fully given to all across the Malaysia? Wait, no, I think we should. Syuhada, so what do you think the lessons that we could get from our discussion of this topic today.
Okay, so the lesson that we can learn from our topic today is we should not depend too much on technology or gadgets, especially when we are having an online classes or learning online, because when we depend too much on gadgets, it will not only affect our mental health, it will also drain our energy and also affect our organ like eyes, because when we are staring too much at gadgets or screen, our eyes might get tired and it will be strained. Okay, not only that, Puteri also said that we must use traditional way in learning, so that we can't depend too much on technologies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So remember, guys, technology might be helping you a lot in every aspect, but technologies also can kill you slowly if you use it in the wrong way, you know.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's all from us. Thank you.